Hello, welcome to another YouTube Live. Here we are every Monday at 7 Central European Time, and every week I offer a free class here on YouTube. If you haven't checked out any of the other ones, after this live, you can go back and have a look at all of the other lives that I've done over the course of this year. I started this January doing lives, and there have been many, many different topics that I've covered. And today is like no other. There's another topic, and it's something that I've covered. It touches upon a broader topic of what I have covered many times, which is all about anxiety and how to come back to calm. This is one of the areas that I specialize in, and I was going to share another simple technique that you can use to come back to calm, and a simple thing that can really help to reset the nervous system. So whenever we feel like anxious, we feel a bit wired, we feel a bit on edge, overwhelmed, like all of these things, that this simple, effective tool that's used a lot in somatic healing as well can be really, really helpful to help us come back to a sense of calm and just to have a moment and feel that sense of deeper peace in whatever's happening. Though first, I want to talk about a couple of other things. So first of all, if you're tuning into these lives or you're watching the replay, any topic that's related to mind, emotions, the physical body in terms of like how we express emotions through creative movements, creative arts, all of these things that are what I work on in terms of creating change, or any of the other topics that I talk about in the podcast. If you have any questions about those, then feel free to ask away. Like a lot of these lives are based on requests, topic requests on those people who are watching. So if you watching this have a specific question on how to boost confidence or how to feel a certain way, like in a particular situation, perhaps you're like going to a meeting and you want to feel more confident, like simple tips to work through that, or how to navigate something challenging that you're going through, or how to let go of limiting beliefs, how to find hidden limiting beliefs, how to like really work with the unconscious mind, like all these different topics, then if you have any questions about that, then ask away, because I read every single comment. And I love hearing requests, because I'm doing this for those who are watching and for those who are looking for support in reducing calm and really falling back in love with themselves and life, and really like falling back into like a sense of authentic confidence. It's not about feeling like, like really kind of, I mean, I can feel like that sometimes, like really like on top of the world, whoa. But what I'm focused more on is really about like how we can connect to that internal peace and calm within and just feel confident from the core. Because that's slightly different. It's not on this adrenaline rush. It's this very grounded confidence, and how we can really step into self-tenderness and really fall back in love with ourselves and life, and really wake up to the magic of who we are. This is a lot of what I base my work on, is waking up to the magic of who we are and falling back in love with ourselves, and really waking up to the magic of life as well. So if you've been feeling stuck, if you've been feeling overwhelmed, if you've been feeling fed up with the world, if you've been feeling down, if you've been feeling like you don't really like yourself, that when you look in the mirror, even like in terms of body image, that you're like, no, I'm not happy, then all of these tips and tools that I'm sharing on here and also on Instagram and on the podcasts are all things to help with that. So do listen, watch, like if this is something you're interested in, then here you have it. And you have my support here every Monday at 7 Central European Time. Now, that's one thing. And also I wanted to mention that the podcast, that I'm thinking about bringing on people to interview as well. So I'm thinking about expanding it. The podcast at the moment are bite-sized episodes, and I've had this going for over a year. And it's wonderful. It's been a great journey, and I've had many insights and many things that I've had to improve and many things I've learned along the way. And I love the bite-sized episodes because people can just listen to like a short little episode, like 10, 15 minutes as they're walking to work or going about their day, and then they have that there, and then they have something useful to take home with themselves. Though also I'm thinking about bringing on guests, like different experts in different fields, and bring them on and asking them different questions, like perhaps getting them to offer bite-sized tips as well, and interviewing them about themselves and their life and what they do. And I like to keep these still fairly short, so like maximum 30 minutes. And I would love to hear from you, like if this is something you're interested in, and like what type of areas do you want to learn about? Like which kinds of experts do you want to hear from? Who do you want me to interview? I have a list already, and I've done some interviews already, and I would love to hear from you as well. If there's a specific topic that you want me to cover, or if you know of someone, or if you're someone who is an expert in a particular field, then I'd love to hear about what you do, and perhaps you may be suitable for the podcast. So that's all to come. And I'm guessing that the interviews will start coming in the autumn time, because I schedule ahead the episodes. So I'm guessing it'll be around September, October time. Perhaps I might bring some out. So that's one thing there. But those who are tuning in for today's topic, let's dive in. So in today's class, we're talking about resetting the nervous system. So like when we're feeling like that adrenaline rush, but like on edge, uneasy, anxious, like feeling perhaps we've been very stressed with work, we've been overworking, we haven't been sleeping much, like everything tends to build up, and our body can feel that. Our body can feel that. Not only do we feel that emotionally, or perhaps we like get brain fog, or we feel like lethargic in some way, but our body also has a knock-on effect on our body and how our nervous system is playing out. So that can really be it's such a common thing nowadays. Like so many people are feeling very stressed, overwhelmed, overworked, anxious, and this is something that's very common. So many people talk to me about this, and I see so many topics and posts on this as well online as well. This is something that's talked about more and more because more and more people are seeking help with this. And much of it is to do with how we're living our life, the modern day life. We're in a very different pace of life compared to 20 years ago, 30 years ago, 10 years ago, 5 years ago. It's very different nowadays. I remember when I was younger, this will indicate my age a little, that when I was younger that there was computers and internet were a thing, but most people, like no one had mobile phones, or very few people had mobile phones. And if you arrange to meet up with a friend, then it'll be a phone call on the landline, on the house phone. And you would arrange like 1 week ahead or 2 weeks ahead. You would set the date, you have everything in the calendar, and everything will be very like planned in advance. And obviously not everything, but generally speaking, like there was a lot more forward thinking, and you had to organize a lot more and think ahead a lot more. So everything was like thought out and a much slower pace. Whereas nowadays, the knock-on effect of social media, especially, and obviously this is not for every single person, and there are ways to use social media in a healthy way, though it's very, very common nowadays. Like the human mind is almost being rewired in a way. It's getting so used to quick, fast, short pieces of information. And when we're used to that, And when that becomes a habit through swiping, through scrolling, swiping, scrolling, then it becomes this thing that's ingrained, and that what happens is that our mind, our attention span starts lowering, and we start seeking things that are quick, that are short, that are fast, and perhaps even watching a video like this one, this is going on to 10 minutes now, that might be a struggle for some people. And this is the thing. This is why there are reels, why there are shorts, why there are like little bite-sized videos. I do put some short little videos on Instagram. So if you wanted that, you can have a look on Instagram. Though I'm very mindful about how many I put on, because I don't want to contribute significantly to the shortening of attention spans. Being an NLP trainer, like knowing and understanding how the mind works and how habits are formed, I can see how social media is rewiring people's minds and their attention span, and like how these habits are being formed. So when there's this overuse of social media and there's all of this quick pieces of information coming in, it's almost like at some level, like there's this habit of wanting more stimulation, but at the same time, there's this overwhelm because there's too much information coming in. There's like posts and promotions and workshops and so many things in the online space. It can create a sense of overwhelm. And also there's this habit of wanting to search for more. Scroll, 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 continue, continue, continue. Watch another reel, watch another short, keep going, keep going, keep going. And the mind is just bombarded with all of this information. And this can create a lot of stress on the nervous system. And especially when we are using technology as well on a very regular basis, and we're surrounded by technology, and we're really like in this field, this electromagnetic field of technology. It has a very different vibration compared to nature. Just, I mean, don't take my word for it. Like, try it out for yourself. Like, notice how you feel after a day sat in front of the computer, or after like at least 2 or 3 hours sat in front of the computer on the phone, like doing lots of work, being surrounded by technology. And then go and sit under a tree, go into the forest, sit on the beach, swim in the sea, or wherever you are, like walk in the mountains, walk in the forest, like wherever you are, like whatever is your closest piece of nature, even if that's the park in a city. Do that and notice what changes. Notice what's different. And really like notice how your body feels. Like what's different in those situations? Like when you're in nature, how does that feel different compared to being in an office full of technology? How is that different? Like, how does it feel different being sat right next to the Wi-Fi router compared to sat under a tree? We are part of nature. Our frequency is in alignment with nature. And when we are on a regular basis surrounded by so much technology, and this is not to say that technology is bad, because it's really useful and it can create many opportunities and many experiences for many people. Like technology can be really amazing and can connect many people. I can do these lives, I can connect with clients in other countries, like it's super useful. Though it's just being mindful of how we're using it, and the effect that it has on our nervous system, our stress levels, how we feel. Like, are we overwhelmed? Are we feeling anxious? It doesn't really make logical sense to me to continue reinforcing that environment of being surrounded by lots and lots of technology, or reinforcing behaviors that contribute to stress more than we need to. I mean, obviously we have jobs and we need to work. Doesn't make sense to do that and then seek medication for anxiety, and then it's almost like placing a plaster over the top and not really getting to the root cause. This is so common, and this happens a lot. Like, so many people are using medication to feel calmer, to reduce anxiety, and they're not addressing the root. Anxiety is not it's not a problem. It's a symptom of something. Like there's something underlying that, like feeling that sense of overwhelm or feeling like whatever. I mean, I'm talking in general here, and there's many different branches of this overwhelm, anxiety, all these different things, like feeling stressed, like they're connected, but they're also different. And when we're not really paying attention to the root cause and really being mindful about our lifestyle, how we're like living, like what our like usage is of technology, what we're consuming, because caffeine as well can contribute to this significantly for many people. Not everyone, though many people. It's a huge component of increasing anxiety. If we're not addressing that, also alcohol and sugar play a big role in this. So if we're not addressing that, but we're just going and getting medication, then we're not really doing everything. And obviously, like everyone has free will and they can do what they want. And I'm not saying no to medication because obviously for some people it's really beneficial in extreme situations. Though it's really looking at, okay, how can I be responsible? And what can I do? What haven't I tried yet? And how can I really create the best environment for me, my nervous system, to really feel good and calm and centered in life? How can I use technology and have regular breaks? How can I like increase the amount of time that I spend in nature and really have those moments where my body, my mind, my emotions can really calm down and feel that sense of centeredness, like that nature brings, that groundedness that nature brings. It's important just to consider all of these things. Like nature is super important. And I posted on this recently on Instagram. I was talking about different tips that really can help us reduce anxiety and help us bring a sense of calm. And I was talking about breath, which I've talked about in many lives and many videos, like coming back to the breath and the movement. Placing your focus on one thing only, because often there's this tendency to focus on many things at once and get overwhelmed by many things at once. Like this is how we get a sense of overwhelm. So just bringing the attention to one thing only, and often the breath, that is a useful thing. And then the third tip, which is what I've been talking about, is coming back to nature, coming back to the frequency of nature. Often there's this perception that we're separate or nature's out there. Nature's right here also. We are part of nature. We are nature. And when we're in environments that are very different to that, it can create some stress on the nervous system and on the body. So one simple tip, like when you're noticing this stress and this overwhelm or this anxious feeling, obviously everything I've mentioned up until now can help. And then one simple tip that can really reinforce that is something that's practiced a lot in somatic experiencing, somatic healing, many different practices. It's something it's just a really wonderful embodiment practice, and just to come back down into the body and create a sense of calm and to really come back to the feelings and the sensations. So what you can do is placing arms or your hands on either of your arms, so like as if you're like holding yourself, and just hold yourself and just gently sway side to side, sway side to side. And as you do this, slow down your breath, slow down your breath even better, breathing through the nose, that'd be even better. And as you're swaying and you're breathing, notice what shifts, notice what changes as you do that. So this is a really, really simple exercise to help reset the nervous system. to bring a sense of calm, because essentially what you're doing, because the body holds memories, the body holds lots of wisdom, and this action, this swaying, and this gentle, slow breathing, this helps to ignite, or it helps us to remember, to reconnect to the memory of us being held as a baby, being rocked as a baby, being soothed as a baby, and really coming back to that. And when we do this to ourselves, we're reparenting ourselves. We're really giving that sense of tenderness, that sense of it's okay, I'm here, to ourselves. And that's so powerful. That's a really powerful thing. So just by holding ourselves, rocking side to side and breathing deeply for a few minutes, you can place music. You can play some music. Maybe there's a song that you find really soothing. You can do that at the same time. This is a really simple thing that you can do anytime, anywhere, even like if you're in a busy shopping like supermarket or market or shopping center or something, and you're waiting in line, or you're feeling a bit anxious and overwhelmed with the amount of people, hold yourself, rock side to side, just gently. And this is something that is so subtle that people don't even have to notice. There's something you can do really easily when you're on the train, when you're on the bus, bringing that sense of calm. So this is one simple tip I just wanted to share today. Like, try that. Notice what changes as you do. I love to hear your shares. So please do send me pop a little comment and in this video, or you can send me an email, info@emmabradford.net. Though I love seeing the comments on here when people share and just hearing your experiences with this. This is the thing, I say this time and time again, that often the most simple things are the most powerful. The most simple things are the most powerful. So often we can be like, oh yeah, I know that. I know rocking side to side, or I know slow breathing, or I know that the breath is important. But do we practice it? That's where the magic happens, when we practice it. So here's a gentle reminder to hold yourself, to comfort yourself, to nurture yourself, to love yourself, to come back to yourself, and just offer that sense of tenderness, offer that sense of presence, that loving presence, offer that sense of comfort to yourself. And this can be a really, really wonderful way to start resetting everything and just come back to a sense of calm. So I'll leave that there for today's class. Though there are a couple of things I wanted to mention. So if you want more, there's the podcast. You can find the episodes on YouTube, and it's all on this channel. So you can find the episodes there. Every 2 weeks it comes out, there's more episodes. And also I have a workshop coming up on the 10th of June. So if you're watching the replay of this and the date has passed, perhaps I've got other workshops going on or other trainings that you can find out what's going on my website. Make sure you're signed up to my email list. The list is in the description of this video to hear about the latest news and to receive different shares that I personal shares that I only share by email, and I share that once a month, plus also some channeled expansions messages as well. So that all goes into the email, and that you can find that in the description of this video. Though at the moment, at the time of recording this, or the time of this going live, on the 10th of June, so this Saturday, there's a wonderful workshop, creative workshop for mothers in Barcelona, and this is a wonderful morning retreat for mothers. It's a wonderful workshop that's blending NLP, so working with the mind, the emotions, the unconscious mind specifically, blending that with creative arts and embodiment practices. And the topic for Saturday is all about body image. This is such a huge topic, body image. This is probably one of the biggest topics for so many humans out there, especially women and especially mothers. The mothers, they go through such a huge transformation in terms of their body. Their body goes through so many changes, and it's completely normal that their perception and their experience of their body changes too with that. Sometimes this can be a positive experience, sometimes this can be a negative experience. And when there's this negative experience, or when the body feels different or looks different compared to before, and perhaps it's not how they're used to, or not what they like anymore, perhaps it's a little fuller or rounder, or perhaps there's more weight in certain places, or maybe lack of weight, but it depends on the individual. Then there can be a lot of insecurities that come up. And also it can bring up anxiety as well, which is why I work a lot with anxiety with clients. So when they're on the beach, or when they're in public, or when they're buying clothes, or when they're like wanting to hide parts of their body, or wanting to avoid showing parts of their body, or when in relationship as well, there's so many different things connected to this. Such an important topic. So on Saturday, we have this wonderful workshop that is blending all of these tools and techniques together to really rewrite the story with body image, and to step into body confidence, to really be like, yes, I feel good, and I'm celebrating this body, this physical vessel that I get to use in this human lifetime. Like, what a gift. And really coming back to what it's really about, what it's truly about. Not the wrinkles, not the weight, but coming back to the very essence, the very core of it, and really seeing our body in a new light. So that's what we'll be doing this Saturday. If you want to join us, if you're a mother, then send me a WhatsApp, +34 for the Spanish country code, 6226 986 73. And you can find the number in the description of this video as well. And if you're not a mother, if you're interested in this topic, if this is something that you also struggle with, then I offer one-on-one sessions worldwide. So you can get in contact for that as well. And yes, so that's the main thing, like talking about that. The workshop's going to be this wonderful experience. I call these workshops experiences because that's what they are. It's not theory. I mean, there's like a little bit that I share, but it's about the experience. It's about getting into those exercises, like those creative processes, those group dynamics, those different things that we do as a group, as a community, and really like embodying that, integrating that, because that's where we create change. It's all very well like having a thought or a concept or an idea about something, but until we integrate it and bring it back down into the body, it's useless. So it needs to come back down into the experience. So these retreats, these mini retreats, morning retreats, these experiences are exactly that. So I love to see you there. I love to have you join us. And if you're watching the replay, if this is past, like if this workshop's no longer available because the date has passed, and I'm sure I've got many other things going on, you can find out on the website or in the newsletter or on Instagram. So thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being you. And I look forward to connecting with you next Monday, same time, 7 Central European time, for another live class. Thank you so much.